I know it's hard to turn screens off. You see, they're made that way. They're really irresistible. Your brain says, stay all day. Screens get your brain excited and they leave it wanting more.
Welcome to the Healthy Screen Habits Podcast. I'm Hillary Wilkinson. Whether you're starting your parenting journey with a newborn or looking to connect with your teen on technology, let's learn some new healthy screen habits together. I am a huge fan of whimsy, kids, and imaginative play. And my guest today ticks all of these boxes. She captures it all within a framework of fun, partnered with developmental research. If that intro seems familiar, it's probably because you heard it when she was on this podcast before in season 6 when I was focusing on tech, tots, and littles. She's a former teacher with a master's in literacy who helps parents and grandparents and caregivers provide screen-free activities through her printable resources and quiet book patterns, page kits, and more. But today she's here to talk about her latest book. It's a picture book that I am recommending to everyone. I have not found one that I like more for digital wellness. It's called Screens Away, Time to Play. Welcome to the Healthy Screen Habits Podcast again, Kailan Carr.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be back.
Me too. Kailan, a full disclosure, Kailan and I have been online friends for a couple years as we've both kind of grown footholds in this digital wellness arena. And recently we got to be roommates at a conference, which was super fun, pajama party type fun. We had a great time and discovered that neither of us are morning people. So
We were chatty at night and silent in the morning.
Exactly. And it worked so well. I will room with you anytime. Okay. So, Kailan, your overwhelming emphasis is on offline play. And I'm just going to dive right into it here.
Yes.
Why is play important?
The huge main reason is it is how kids learn. That's the way they learn. It's the best way for their brains to develop. And it covers so many areas. There's the physical, where they're mastering their fine and gross motor skills. It covers social emotional, when they're learning how to listen to directions, pay attention, resolve conflicts. It's language and literacy. They're learning new words by interacting with others and practicing those skills. And then it's cognitive development, where they are working on their executive functioning, their working memory, their self-regulation, their problem solving. And it's so important. So play builds the brain. And unlike what tech companies and marketing companies would like you to think, that those videos and those screens and those fun games that are on devices are the way to do that, they market it to us parents saying, your child needs to do this. This is how they'll learn. It's great fun for them at the same time. But it's simply not the case. Play is the way.
Awesome. When we think of like imaginative play, the kitchens and the dress ups and all of those things, it tends to be with like much littler guys. And does the importance of play change with ages and stages of kids?
No, even adults benefit from play. Like adults, we would be much happier if we took some time out of our busy days to just play. And play releases oxytocin and serotonin and other hormones. And it's such a good stress reliever and has so many positive mental health effects. And so the only thing is, what play looks like will change. So you have your toddlers who just have fun. Their play is taking things out of a bag and putting things back in a bag. Then you get preschool level and they like, the imaginative play that you were talking about. And then we tend to think once they get to be tweens and teens that they're too old, they don't need to play anymore and they become more social. But it's simply that's not true. I keep watching my kids, they're 10 and 12, and how they play is different, but and I thought, okay, this is going to be the time when they're going to probably stop, and then I find them diving in, and it's if you give the kids the opportunity, they still love it. And it's us adults, and I've seen the phrase like around, and it's so true. um but they're not too old. Things their play might look like playing sports outside with friends, playing games with friends or family, and even adults too. Do what you love, pick a hobby, and that's your play. Go have fun.
Oh, okay, I will. Let's go. Okay. So this is the time of year when we are setting up systems and frameworks for the school year, right? And so we're kind of setting intention for what this school year is going to look like and getting kids out the door in the morning and meeting everyone's needs in the evening. And speaking as one who, shared a vulnerable moment earlier that mornings are not my best time. Screens can seem like a really easy fix if you have littles who are getting up super early because we know that kiddos' circadian rhythms do not necessarily match adults
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of follow the light. So if the sun is rising at 6, you got little folks scampering down the hall at 6. And so while you're getting ready in the morning in the car, why is a screen free morning routine really a better idea as a way to start our day?
I have found with my kids that it just starts our day off rocky. Like the dopamine loop starts, early. You get that on the screen and then they just keep wanting more. It makes them feel good and they don't want to turn it off, which means they don't want to get ready. They don't want to eat their breakfast. It just slows everything down. And then once they've had that dopamine fix, everything else seems boring. So they're kind of stunted for the rest of the day. It's like, I don't want to do this creative thing. I can't figure out what I want to do. And so it's just, in my opinion, it's so much easier just to not start that. Don't push the power button. Like just keep screens off in the morning and save it for later in the day if you choose to. um, but I do know that it's you have things you need to do, and as far as you getting ready, and as far as um, you know, kids. So what I've done, these are my tips and tricks
Oh,
for
for the
helping.
for the morning time?
Yes.
I'm so grateful to hear these because the to any morning tips and tricks are welcome in this house.
So when my kids were younger, I would set out like a little invitation to play. And it could be it's not does not have to be something like extremely time intensive. It could simply be a puzzle where you lay out the pieces that are, you don't have it all put together because then it's not inviting. It's like, well, it's done already. So just have a puzzle that's with pieces that are loose and around, and it's like, here you go. You can work on this puzzle when you get up. Um, you could have a morning basket where you just have a few items that they play with, like near your bed. So, like, say they get up super early and you are not ready, like they can play beside you, and things that might be just like a book to look at, a puzzle, like a little, baby doll or hands-on toy, just little open-ended toys that they can um, play with, or like a workbook coloring page, something like that. I also recommend keeping toys, the decision amount of toys, very minimal because that invites them. It's overstimulating actually to have so many choices. It's just like, I don't know what to do. So if you just kind of give them an aim, for just a few options, it really helps the independent play. And that's your goal in the morning. And then also my favorite thing is to put on a podcast or an audiobook, and then they can quietly, they can play while they're listening, or they can just lay on the couch and listen. But we use that all the time, and our TV plays, like it plays through the TV, so it's kind of like they're getting that screen time where they're having the control to like push the remote, find what they want to listen to, and it just plays without the stimulation of, the visual effects. A fun activity too is like if you're trying to get ready, you need to take a shower, and your kids are younger, you kind of want them in the same area. If you have like a separate bathtub, or if you're, maybe you're out of the shower, and you're doing your hair or whatnot, you can add, like, make a little nest somewhere in the bathroom, and like bring in blankets and pillows. And we've used the bathtub before, and bring in books and a few things, and so they have their little nest that they keeps themselves busy while you're getting ready. I also really like having a special drawer in, like, I had one in the kitchen where I would be, fixing breakfast, and they would get things out because they love to be near you, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so it lets them be near me, and then it's the novelty, like they don't get to play with these toys and take them all around the house. It's just like you play with these right by me in the kitchen. So magnets were amazing, for our refrigerator, the dishwasher, just little like pots and pans and funnels and scoops and things, like just some of their favorite toys that you just put right there. And then I had one in the bathroom drawer, so that was their special drawer that they got into. So that really helps, get the morning going
Yeah,
without
yeah, I
screens.
love that. And it's kind of fun to hear you talk about all those early morning moments with littles, because it makes me think back to when my guys were little. And another, just to add on to that, was one thing that my kids, when they got a little bit older, now I wouldn't do this with very young littles, but when they got a little bit older, was our kitchen had big sliders, sliding glass doors, and
Mhm.
using dry erase markers on
Oh,
those windows, like in the morning, and they'd,
how fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, but I'm with you. I too had a kind of a kitchen setup area. And never underestimate the power of the muffin tin
Mm-hmm.
for littles, for just like, I mean,
Sorting.
yes, sorting or picking up, small things out of it, or I would set it out, maybe fill it with, Cheerios and raisins. And, when they
Mm-hmm.
got older and they could kind of start on that, I could
Yeah.
prefab breakfast easily.
Yes.
And yeah, and I mean, a 6 cup muffin tin was was a container of choice. So,
Yeah,
um,
I love that, to give them that independence and show them, okay, you can start making your own breakfast if you get up early. Like, start that young, because
yes.
it is great when they are older and you get to, I don't feel guilty. I don't fix my kids breakfast, and I don't feel guilty about that, because I think I am teaching you responsibility and how to take care of yourself. And so I'm not the mom who like makes the eggs in the morning and fancy breakfast. Like, nope, you do it yourself.
I'm laughing because you and I talked about this when we were together, post morning wake up, and we were actually in our talking zone again. And yeah, I too went through a little bit of mom guilt of like, oh gosh, I know some people who do like, I mean, the full on spread every morning with like eggs and bacon and toast and all of this stuff. And I just had to go, guys, you didn't pull that mom card.
Yeah.
You got a different lady, but I can be awesome in other ways,
You're
but
right.
before 7 a.m., not so much.
Yep.
So so that's the first part of the day. And knowing that we're going to the school year, after school can be pretty crazy. There are days when it
Mhm.
feels like you've like got 2 days, right? Where it's like the
Mhm.
time before 3 p.m. and then your second day that happens after pickup. And
Mhm.
how do you recommend families set intention behind screen use in afternoons and evenings?
And I think that's the key is set an intention and decide beforehand what you'd like to do. Because in my family, I thought about my kids go to school and they're on a computer. And I don't know how long they are. Like I've even asked this school, I'm like, can we get some like time frames here of how long? And they're like, sorry, it's just we just don't know. And I'm like, so I just assume the worst, right? I assume that they are on it more than what is recommended because we know that, 1 to 2 hours is basic, all the screen time that a child needs for their entire day. And that's easy to do during a math lesson and a reading lesson. So I in my family, we save screen time for the weekend and just during the week. I know that they're getting it at school and I want them. It's so important for kids to have open-ended free play. And we do also do like the after school sports, the piano lessons, the Girl Scouts and the Cub Scouts. So we definitely have busy afternoons and evenings, so that time is so highly valued just to have that block of space and time where they get to decide what they want to do. And that's how that open-ended play happens, and they can develop their hobbies and try new things, and then they can also just rest from a really overstimulating day at school. And so that's when we also use podcasts a lot. My son loves it. He'll just come in the door, kind of decompress, listen to a podcast or an audiobook. And if you do decide, I know when we were younger, when the kids were younger and they went to like a half day preschool, we did have more time in the afternoons and evenings. And that's when I use screen time as a tool for me to kind of give a break and reset for the evening shift. And I chose intentional shows that were less stimulating and I kept it on the TV as like more of a family event. I could see it. The kids were watching it together. And so I do think that you just need to decide ahead of time, not when you're in the moment, and try to stick to it. Of course, there's days and times where you're sick or they're sick or you need a little bit of help, and that's fine, but it's the areas like it's your routine that really need to try to stick to.
We have to take a break, but when we come back, let's dive a little deeper into helping our kids explore the reasons why we're maintaining that tech intentional focus. Do you know what's happening during your child's online exchanges? As well intentioned as we are, often reading every text message, post, and email is just not realistic. This is where Bark comes in to help. Founded in 2015, Bark Technologies provides a parental control app that monitors and alerts parents to online threats. Bark was created for parents by parents to offer a better, easier, and more effective way to keep children safe online. Bark monitors posts and messagings for things like signs of bullying and communication with dangerous strangers. Bark's algorithms analyze all activity and issue parents notifications via their chosen communication method. Gain peace of mind and get 10% off of Bark service for life by using the Healthy Screen Habits link. Go to our website at healthyscreenhabits.org, click on the Tools button in the drop-down menu, and look for products we endorse to find Bark. It will be the easiest click you make all day. Peace of mind is just a bark away. Kailan Carr's mission is to prioritize playtime for kids living in this digital world we are currently existing in. She loves reading and road tripping and is a tireless advocate for kids. And one of the ways she does this is by co-chairing the early childhood work group at the Screen Time Action Network. But the hat that I am super excited to talk about is the one that Kailan's going to talk about next. And this is the hat of author. So this past year, we got to cheer from the sidelines as she published her 5th book. And this one, I It's hard to choose a favorite, but this one so far, I think everyone that comes out is my favorite, but this one is my favorite so far. It's a picture book. It's got adorable illustrations, fun rhymes. And the part that I love most importantly is it teaches the kind of the why behind staying offline for kids in a friendly fashion. So, Kaylin, what's the title of this amazing book?
It is Screens Away, Time to Play.
Right. Okay. And what was your muse? Why did you feel like the world needed this book right now?
Because of my children. And so a former teacher here. So I love using books as teaching tools. And they're just such a great way as a parent to introduce a topic without being like the naggy mom who, the kids aren't going to listen. It does it in a fun way. So, of course, when my kids were born about the same time as the iPad, 10 and 12 years ago, and I just saw things we had it was new. My dad is a super tech guy, thought this is amazing, and so we had one, and I saw things I did not like. How they were just obsessed. They turned zombies. Then they had behavior issues and crying when it was time to turn it off. And I was like, whoa, whoa! I do not. This is not worth it to me. We will stick with our TV, and I'm gonna put this away. And I did. I put it in a drawer, and we didn't use it again. And so I, of course, the new teacher me, I'm like, okay, I want to have a book that explains like why we need to limit screen time and play. And I searched, and there was nothing out there. We had Berenstein Bears had too much TV, and like there's nothing that has the devices that are with us all the time. And now that there's research out that shows why the screens, why we act the way we do with when we're on screen. So it just came to me. I just was like, this is how I want to tell my kids. There's not a book out there. The rhymes just flowed out of me. And then I wanted to also highlight the fun because I wanted to explain the effects of screen time, but like give ideas of other things that they can do to, like I mentioned earlier, where they use their screens and they're like, I'm done. Now what in the world do I do now? And so just simple ideas that are around the house, things that you can do that easy, like, but the kids might not think of it, the adults might not think of it. And so this book is a resource for parents and kids to use to refer back to. I would love if Screens Away, Time to Play was like a household motto. And you say that, and then you remember the book, you realize your why and what you can do instead. I've heard of families leaving it out on like a coffee table so they can go back and look through when they need an idea. So that was the goal.
Awesome. So what you brought it up, and when I described it earlier, Screens Away Time to Play is written in this kind of rhymey style, but I don't think just talking about it is doing it really the justice it deserves. Would you be able to read a few pages? Do a
I
little
would
author read here for us?
I would be happy to. Okay. And it starts out too. There's a little doll hidden throughout. So you have to find the seven dolls or eight counting that one. And I've heard so much great feedback. The kids absolutely love searching through the book and finding that doll. Okay, so it starts off. I know it's hard to turn screens off. You see, they're made that way. They're really irresistible. Your brain says, stay all day. Screens get your brain excited and they leave it wanting more. It sometimes seems, compared to screens, that everything's a bore. But screens can make you cranky when you've had a bit too much. Your brain gets overloaded with the flashes, sounds, and such. Yes, scientists have studied this, and here's what they've seen. Learning's better in real life, not played out on a screen. And when you watch, you're missing out on everything around, like outside time and making friends, adventures to be found. But if you aren't using screens, what can you do instead? Just keep on reading here, my friend, for great ideas ahead. Magician, doctor, astronaut, play dress up with a friend. Go grab a stack of favorite books and read them till the end. Build a tower out of blocks and watch them as they fall, or color pretty pictures that can decorate your wall. And then it goes just lots more pages of
So,
more activities. And then we cover
so
how it's
many
okay
ideas.
to be bored. We cover how it's a good thing and how sometimes you might use screens more when you're feeling sick, but that's okay. Just get back on track. We talk about when you're out in public, like to just enjoy the world around you and talk to people and so yeah.
So, yeah, so you talked about the illustrations, you talked about the little doll, and one of the kind of main or the lead characters in your illustrations is a little girl with red hair that matches your own. Did you inject a little of yourself into these pages?
No, actually, my daughter has more red hair than me.
Ah,
She's actual authentic redhead. So I do have there's so many kids. I wanted it to be inclusive as possible to have all kinds of kids see themselves in this book. So I did make sure um, to have a wide variety, but I picked my nephews and nieces and my kids. They got to pick a page and pick a little character, what activity they wanted to be doing.
oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. How cute. I love it. Okay, so one other thing that I appreciate about this book, Screens Away Time to Play, is there are discussion questions in the very back. And as you know, one of the many hats that I wear is teacher, substitute teaching, and this book is kind of like my go-to in my extra bag of tricks that I bring with me into classrooms. And it makes it so it seems like I'm hitting the easy button, but it just makes it so easy because the questions at the end are really great for getting kids to think and discuss how their body feels after spending time online or other things as well. So I really appreciate that you included those
Oh,
discussion
well,
questions.
thank you. And then also there's free activities too that comes with the book at the end. And you just go to QR code that'll be sent to your email. And there's like a restaurant scavenger hunt, there's puzzles, there's a science experiment, there's coloring pages, there's a lot of extra free resources.
So many great things. It's a great gift for teachers or anyone who does, like I do, like substitute teaching, new moms. I think it would be awesome to have in like pediatric waiting rooms or speech therapy offices. Like I said, I think it should be everywhere. So we
Thanks.
have to take a short break, but when we come back, I'm going to ask Kailan Carr for her healthy screen habit. Gab Wireless now offers options. Wearable tech like the Gab Watch, devices like Gab phones, and even a kid safe, non explicit music library. Built on the most reliable wireless network in the country, Gab is a go to for first phones and safe tech. Get safety, peace of mind, and an added discount by using the code HS Habits at checkout. My guest today is Kailan Carr, a huge fan of fun. I encourage you to check out her website at kailancarr.com. I'm going to link it in the show notes because she also has not just Screens Away Time to Play and amazing other workbooks, but she also has this membership that is called the Inner Circle. It's screen free fun for kids roughly ages 3 to 7, where she creates new printable, like seasonal, screen free, sanity saving activities each month. So you don't have to do any of the searching or planning, it just gets delivered to you. It's awesome. Kailan, it's a new school year, time for new habits for us all to aspire to. And as you remember on each episode, I ask for a healthy screen habit, which is going to be a tip or takeaway that listeners can put into practice in their own home. What's yours?
I have two important purchases that I am loving. A watch is simple, but I was using my phone as a watch all the time. And so that led one thing to another. I'd look at the time and then, oh, I have a notification because I do have, my phone is silenced and I don't have notifications that pop up, but I do have, texts or a phone call or whatnot. So anytime I like would go look at the time, it would distract me onto my phone, or I'm just like, hey, let's check things out. So definitely using a watch
Like
is
an analog watch, to
an
be clear,
anna
right?
on my
Not
wrist,
an
not
Apple
an Apple
Watch.
Watch,
We're
right?
talking like Mickey
I
Mouse hands.
I don't even own an Apple Watch because I don't want that on me 24/7. Like I want to step away and just live my life. And
Mhm.
then my other purchase is a walking pad for when I do need to be on the screen. I noticed like I mean going from, I'm creating these digital activities and writing books and on the computer a lot more than I used to be when I was doing quiet book things and I was more sewing on my machine. And I really noticed a drop in my focus and attention and productivity. And I got a walking pad and oh, I love it. I'm able to walk and get my steps in and work at the same time. Like I can't write like a whole blog post at the time, but like checking email, responding, working with my mouse, creating things, it is so helpful.
I am absolutely going to look into that because I just think like the sedentary aspect of podcasting and
Mm-hmm.
creating digital things, etc. It is, yeah, I am absolutely going to look into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
highly recommend.
As always, a complete transcript of this episode, links on how to purchase Screens Away Time to Play, as well as a link to Kailan's website, kailancarr.com, can be found in today's show notes. And you find these by going to healthyscreenhabits.org, click the podcast button, and use the drop down menu to find this episode. Kailan, I can't thank you enough for being a great roommate in Portland and reminding us all about the importance, no matter your age, no matter your stage in life, for making time to play.
Thank you so much for having me again and being my such a huge supporter.
For more information, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Healthy Screen Habits. Make sure to visit our website, healthyscreenhabits.org, where you can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or via RSS, so you'll never miss an episode. It's free, it's fun, and you get a healthy new screen habit each week. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate you giving us a quick rating. It really does help other people find us and spread the word of healthy screen habits. Or if you'd simply like to tell a friend, we'd love that too. I so appreciate you spending your time with me this week, and I look forward to learning more healthy habits together.